Kenneth Witt, and welcome to Gun Dog Nation. Gun Dog Nation is much more than a podcast. It's a movement to build a community of people around the world that like to watch a well-trained dog do what it's bred to do. Also, we want to get our youth involved into the sport of gun dogs, whether it be hunting, sport, or competition. We want to build a community of people united to preserve our gun dog heritage and to be better gun dog owners. Tune in to each weekly episode and learn about training, dog health, wellness, and nutrition. We will also offer tips for hunting with dogs and for competition, hunt tests, field trials, and other dog sports that involve gun dogs. Please go to our website, gundognation.com, and subscribe to our email list. We will keep you informed weekly with podcasts that are coming out. We also will be providing newsletters with training tips and health tips for your dog. You can also go to patreon.com/gundognation and become a member. There's different levels of membership on there. Just go check that out. Also, we'd like to thank Sean Brock for providing the music for this show, the introduction and the outro. As Sean Brock, he played everything on there except the banjo by Scott Vestal and the dobro by Jerry Douglas. Sean is a neighbor of mine from over in Harlan, Kentucky. I'm just crossing the mountain in Hyden, Kentucky, and he's a super talented guy. But most of all, I want you guys to check out the Creekers. They are also from Hyden, Kentucky, and this is an up-and-coming bluegrass and country band, and these guys are hot. They're all over TikTok and YouTube. You will hear these guys because in a year or so, they will be on the radio. They are very talented. Their videos are going viral on the net. These boys are family. Two of the lead singers, one grew up with my daughters, and the other one is my cousin's son, so he's family. But check them out. Check out the Creekers. Also, last but not least, if you want to buy a hat, koozie, t-shirt, or even gun dog supplies, go to shopgundognation.com and you can purchase any of those items. Thank you so much for listening. It's a privilege to have people that want to put up with me talking about dogs all the time. I actually enjoy what I do, and I'm so glad to have this opportunity, and thank you. Hello, it's Kenneth Whip, the Gun Dog Nation podcast. I'm finally back home today in Fort McCavitt, Texas at the ranch. I've been on a 2-month hunting excursion, but the guy I got on here, I'm actually, people said they were jealous of my 2-month hunting excursion, but I think Mr. Browning here is actually doing a lot more fun stuff than even I did. So we're going to talk about that. This man, I think he hails in Arizona. I'm going to let him introduce himself, but he has for upland hunters, he does to me what is on my bucket list, and I can't wait to get into this and talk about it. But thank everybody for listening to the Gun Dog Nation podcast. Again, we're sponsored by Purina, Cable Gangs, Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy, Retriever Training Supply, Folicious Vietnamese Foods, and please let me forget something else. That's all I can think of right now. I'm sure I forgot somebody, but I have commercials to cover me for that. Brett, thank you for taking time out of your hunting trip, and that's a big deal. Believe me, I know. Tell everybody who you are, and we'll get into it a little bit.
All right. It's good to be with you, Ken. Good morning. And I'm originally from Texas, and I'm sitting in South Dakota right now. I do quite a bit of bird hunting. I don't do any big game hunting. I did as a kid there in Texas when you can shoot just about a deer a day down there. And it's all bird hunting for me, birds and dogs, mainly the dogs. But I do quite a bit of bird hunting from Alaska to tip of Texas.
Now, Brett, what interested me, and I mean, I still consider myself a novice upland hunter. I love it. But, I was talking to you one day via text, and you were in the Arctic Circle. First of all, a guy like me, I'm from Southeast Kentucky. I've been in Texas 13 years, but I had no clue that there were birds that even lived in the Arctic Circle, except maybe penguins or something. So tell me what you were hunting up there.
Well, what we do, we've been going up there for about 10 years, and we've hunted all over Alaska. But the place we've been hunting here the last 3 years has been north of Nome. We will actually fly into Nome and then continue on north up above the circle out towards Palmer. And no, Palmer. That's in Anchorage. Not the Steese. That's over in Fairbanks. Good heavens. I forget the name of that highway out of Nome. It's the only highway that goes north out of Nome. But we'll even go further north than that. And what we're hunting is ptarmigan, willow ptarmigan. There's 3 types of ptarmigan up there. You got the willows, the rocks, and the whitetail. ptarmigan, and you can actually find some white-tailed ptarmigan in Colorado, way up high.
Really?
But up in Alaska, up on that tundra, there's some incredible upland hunting to be had, and they're not pressured at all, because people go up there for big game, moose and caribou, bear and stuff, and they're not molested at all, really. And you can really get some really good dog work. And one of the phenomenons up there, growing up in Texas and even hunting in the Midwest, you never come across a fence. There's no fence, and it literally, that tundra goes over the curve of the earth, and it's like you're out in the South Pacific, because you just never get out of habitat, and you'll see some habitat 100 yards to your right. I want to go hunt that habitat, but there are creeks and spots and low spots, swampy areas. You can't get there. It's real deceiving. You can't, like hunting Bob White's and around Lubbock. You walk down this fence row, you turn around, and you come, walk down another fence row, and you go back to the truck. There's so many landmarks up there. There's no cattle. There's no fences. And it's really hard to get used to white dogs on point and white birds flushing.
Wow. So I guess it's real easy for a man to get lost in that terrain.
You can. You need a GPS big time, because it rains. We were there one year, and a friend of mine, Tim Franks, out of Mountain Home, Idaho. We were hunting up there, and it rained for 6 days and 7 nights. Never stopped. And you gotta pack for that, dogs and yourself. It is so wet. It's so rainy, and those clouds will sock you in there, and everything looks the same, and wow, you can get lost in 20 feet.
Man, now when you were there, am I right? It was in September, wasn't it?
Mid-August.
Oh wow, okay, that's right. That's you and I've been talking that long. So is there a season, or is there just a time of year that's best to go?
Yeah, it's a very, very long season. It opens in mid-August and goes to the end of March.
Wow.
It's a really long season.
Is it because not many people do it?
No. Well, I've not. I've been up there 10 times, and I've run into one bird hunter.
Wow. How did you even find out about it? I mean, I don't read about this in my normal gun dog magazines. At least I've never seen it anyway.
Well, I tell you what, it's kind of interesting story. I was at a friend's house in Roswell, New Mexico. Craig Collins, very good gentleman, very close friend of mine. We're having dinner at his table, and Tim Franks, the fellow I mentioned earlier, we're there bird hunting there in Roswell, and we pull up a picture of a ptarmigan. We're checking emails and going through emails and talking dogs, talking birds, eating and having a great time. And we pull up a picture of a ptarmigan, and I'm like, I turned my iPad around to Tim. I'm like, where can we find this? I'd like to hunt a ptarmigan. Where can we find this? He goes, I think they're in Alaska. Like, I think they're in Alaska. That's where it started. Wow. As Tim saying, I think they're in Alaska. And about 11 years later, I mean, we got it figured out.
That's insane. So in August, or when you guys go, and I guess that's the optimal time to go because of weather, or why August? Why the first part?
Well, it's rainy, which is not a big deal, but upper 30s to mid 40s is a lot more comfortable on these pointers than 35 below. And it gets cold quick up there, and their winters are long and hard, and there's so much snow, and the pointers just work better in mid-August to September.
And you being a bird dog man, I assume for a long time, is the pointer the optimal breed to have in those conditions?
A short hair, a pointer of any kind, a short hair, an English pointer.
Okay.
It's a pointing dog's game up there.
Okay. And I meant to say the English pointer. I mean, I should have specified that.
Sure. Yeah. English pointers, German GSPs.
Okay.
A pointing breed. The setters would be fine.
Okay.
There's not any cuckleburs and stuff like that for them to get. They just get wet.
Okay.
So a setter would work fine. And since they're not jousted all that much, they really hold tight, and it is just, it's remarkable. It's a remarkable hunt, and I feel real fortunate to be able to go up there and do that.
What's the daily limit there?
There's areas that have a 10 bird limit, and there's areas that have a 20 bird limit.
Wow. And
since we've been going up north of Nome, we've been, I'd say in a 7-day hunt, we'll limit 6 days, 2 of us with a 20 bird limit. Okay. Yeah, that's a bunch of birds. And the locals really like those birds. They don't even care if they're cleaned, but we give away most of them. But we were at a facility where we can cook a lot of the birds. But a 20 bird limit, 40 birds a day, that's a lot of dog work.
Yeah. Wow. So, yeah, I get it. I mean, that's about like hunting on a preserve, you getting that many points.
I would say not counting, counting the ones we don't even go after. We're driving down the road and seeing birds, and counting those and counting the ones we encounter out in the field, 35, 40 cubbies a day.
Wow. Now, kind of help me picture what this terrain looks like. I mean, you kind of explained a little bit, but are you shooting in brush, trees? What?
The shooting, I call it shinry. Everything I just call it shinry. Okay. It's really short shinry unless you get into a willow thicket, which you don't want to be in because it gets really thick really fast, and there's other things in there besides ptarmigan. Okay. So, yes. So you don't want to get yourself in one of those. You work the edges of that. Okay. But it's short shinry, very good shooting, and the tundra is a spongy habitat. It's like you're walking on a 4-inch mattress. You sink down. I don't know if this is a sponsor of yours or not, but Muck's boots are as important as keeping your dog safe. Mucks is the way to your regular hunting boot is just way too much water. Okay. Way too much water. And we'll have gaiters on up above the mucks even just to stay dry. You have to pack to stay dry. Okay.
Yeah, that's just hard to imagine. No, the shinnery that I think of, and I assume I know what I'm talking about. Maybe I don't. But when I've hunted in higher elevation Colorado, it's shinnery, right? Real thick tree, like an oak leaf, a type of oak or something. And except they're taller there, maybe 4, 5, 6 feet. Is that the same kind of stuff? Hello, this is Kenneth Whitt with Gundog Nation. Many people quickly become frustrated and confused when training the retriever. Cornerstone Gundog Academy's online courses eliminate all the guesswork by giving you a proven training system that will help you train a dog that anyone will be proud to have in their blind. Learn where to start, what to do next, and what to do when problems arise. Visit cornerstonegundogacademy.com to learn how you can train your retriever. I have used this method myself. I have been through it a couple times with different dogs. I refer back to it lots of times when I'm trying to get dogs freshened back up for hunt test season. I highly recommend them. I have actually been a subscribed member of Cornerstone Gundog Academy since 2016, and I would suggest anyone use it. I highly recommend it. They have an app that you can get to on your phone. You can do it from your phone, your laptop. You can't get any more convenient than that. I've used it. It's proven and tried. And I know literally hundreds of people that have done the same thing that I've talked to. Visit cornerstonegundogacademy.com and learn how to train your own retriever. Hello, this is Kenneth Witt, and Gundog Nation is proud to have one of their sponsors as Retriever Training Supply, based in Alabama. Retriever Training Supply offers fast shipping on quality gear. Your dog will love it. Visit retrievertrainingsupply.com to purchase gear to help you train your retriever. Listen, they have some of the best leashes I've ever found. It's stuff's made in America. Their leashes are, and they source them locally. They have anything you want, fast, friendly service, fast shipping, just good people. Retriever Training Supply.
No, it's willows. I forget what the proper name of that, but it's willow. That's where the willows get their name, willow ptarmigan. But mainly, and some of those can get pretty tall, but you'll have willows and alderwood.
Okay.
The alders, and which is a good area to be hunting as well. But there's a lot of vegetation there, but it's very, very short. You're talking, just 10 inches above the ground, and the undulation of that tundra. It's not like walking on a gym floor. It's constant maneuvering. And another amazing thing is when you see a herd of caribou, man, they're just clicking across that tundra like it's nothing. They can cover the country. It's like they're skating on ice. But you walk and you'll turn ankles, and it's one of a kind. It's like you're on a different planet up there.
Well, how do you? Because I know just for me, and I'm 57 and I have a lot of knee issues, but just upland hunting alone is pretty taxing on my knees. It's tough. How do you prepare to walk? Because that sounds like treacherous walking, like really difficult.
Well, it's hard walking, but it's nothing compared to Hell's Canyon in Idaho.
Okay.
That's a job there. But it's the undulation and that sponginess is what will wear you out. There's very few hills. There's a few hills, but nothing in the same ballpark as Hell's Canyon.
Wow. What do you do in the off season? How do you stay in shape? Like, you have to be in shape. I don't know how you do it.
Well, I'll run 10 miles a week.
Okay.
Run 2 miles a day, 5 days a week, and shoot 200, 300 rounds of skeet a week, probably. But you will do a lot of shooting and run 10 miles a week, and a lot of it is desire.
Yeah.
you gotta want it.
Yeah, that's I'd never really done DIY duck hunting, until this year up in Montana with a group of guys. They're from the Texas coast, and they like to kill me. I don't, I've went to places where you just go down there and somebody else will set up the decoys and take you down the decoys, and you're not walking through swamp and waders to get there or marsh. And I was about to die, and I thought, man, you guys are insane. And they done it for 7 or 8 days straight, 2 times a day. So now knowing this helps me to picture what you're doing, which sounds even harder. Yeah. I tell you this, Brett, next year, this chubby guy will be in better shape when I go back.
I tell you, it's taxing. It's really taxing on the dogs. If you do get into some snowy weather, which we haven't got into big issues of snowy weather, but your dogs, there's an item called Musher Secret that's really good on those dogs' feet. It's not like the gravel in Montana, Idaho, Texas, Kansas, Nebraska. You don't have the gravel at all. But the wetness and the snow, that Musher Secret really works good on their pads. And I try not to put boots on the dog.
Okay. But do you use it the whole time you're in the Arctic?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll rub that Musher Secret on them, and they don't lick it off. That stuff is designed. What it's designed for is to keep ice from balling up in between their pads.
Yeah.
And it does really good on that. But just like a soothing lotion, like you put lotion on your dry hands, things just feel better.
Yeah.
And the dogs really, really take to it, and it really helps their pads out.
I'm not trying to get too much in your business, but just curious. I assume because of where it's at, the remoteness of the location, pretty expensive hunting trip.
It's a little pricey.
Yeah.
We don't have a guide. Tim and I figured it out. And Tim's an avid bird hunter like myself, and between the two of us, there's a lot of desire there.
Okay.
So we save some money being our own guide, but there's some people that go up there to spend insane amounts of money.
Yeah.
To even shoot a moose.
Yeah. That's I know a lot of folks have killed moose and caribou, and I've eaten moose. Right. I've hunted in Canada a bunch, but which I thought was an excellent meat, by the way. Maybe one of the best I've ever had.
Oh, nice.
Haven't eaten caribou, but anyway, yeah. And I'm like you, Brett. I was a big game hunter too, hardcore for years. But now that I've got dogs, I don't. I still love a big game hunt, but I don't have time, and I'd rather hunt with my dogs.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
So now, what's in your kennel? What are you hunting with?
English pointers.
All right.
English.
Well, I'll tell you this, and we'll have this discussion. I've got an English pointer. It's off of that Jimmy. It's a big Naster winner.
Okay.
And I got it from Chad Norpel up in North Dakota. I love this dog. He's I don't know his age. I should know that, but he's under 2. He's won a field trial.
Oh, good.
And and got some other places. And that's not what I do. But anyway, I've got him. Then I've got a Brittany I got from Ronnie and Susanna Smith.
Okay.
But he's a young started dog, and he's really coming along. But was it a Texas thing that got you in the English pointers? What got you? Why is that your breed?
My granddad got us all. That just brings up a whole other subject. Rarely does somebody just get off the couch and go bird hunting. That's a rarity. You got an uncle or a dad or a granddad that took you. And my granddad took me several times, and my dad took me, and they trained dogs, and they had setters and pointers.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of old school, but setters and pointers is what I cut my teeth on, literally. And I've stuck with them, and they fit. What you and a person not in the dog hunting world, the first step in getting in that world is have something in your mind that you want. And if you can get that and then be satisfied with that and like that and love that, there's a dog out there that'll fit it.
What does Brett Browning, in his mind, what is your ideal? I know you've got an idea. What's your perfect dog for you?
Well, the ideal dog for me is, while I'm 62 and I can still walk and I can cover the country, and I like dogs that'll cover the ground. I transitioned from chukars in Idaho and Montana just about a month ago, and Wyoming, over to pheasants here in South Dakota. And you got to have a dog that you have a strong bond with that will adjust, because I don't need him out there 200 yards like I do in Hell's Canyon. But here, 50 yards, 60 yards is all you want. And I want a dog that'll adjust to the different types, because every upland bird is different. A bobwhite hunt is different than a chukar hunt or a Hungarian partridge or sharp-tailed grouse. They're all different, and they're all amazing birds to follow and chase. But you need a versatile dog that you have a very strong bond with, because these dogs are right here next to me right now, and I spend a lot of time with them.
Brett, that's now you're educating me a lot here. This year's my first year of true multi-terrain, multi-state upland hunting. Not to the extreme you've been, but I took an English pointer who had been trained in the Dakotas in that prairie grass. Of course, he was in Naster, so hunting quail. And I took him from that straight to Wisconsin after I grouse hunted with him some with the owner or the guy I got him from, and went to rough grouse. So it was so thick, it was early September, and here this dog is hunted where he can run like a deer. Now he can't hardly run 3 feet without hitting something.
Oh, sure.
And my
That's
Brittany
a
too, same thing. The Brittany was trained in Oklahoma by Smith, so he'd been in open country, and so we hunted Wisconsin a bit, then went straight to Minnesota, and it just amazed me how they kind of adapted. I thought, oh, they're going to run so big, but I started just toning them to turn them, and noticed they finally started getting it and walking with me and quartering with me. And matter of fact, I shot my first rough grouse in Minnesota, and my dog retrieved it at a pretty long distance that I'd given up on the bird, my English pointer. I was very impressed. I think. Hey, Heidi? Heidi? I think there he comes. I think my internet's getting weak. Is yours?
I'm looking at my modem and it's just a jamming away.
Okay. I think it's actually mine. I'm on Starlink here at the ranch, and okay, now it seems to be working fine. It's odd.
Yeah.
Okay. My wife's here. She may try to adjust it a little bit. We're still live, but we can edit this. Hopefully they edit it. But so yeah, I don't know if you heard me, but I was just talking about that English pointer I had and how it switched from.
Right.
But so you're hunting in so many different terrains, from tundra to Texas. I'm sure you've got to have a dog that can just hit it and run and never even think twice. What is this stuff? Hello, this is Kenneth Witt with Gundog Nation, and I've got to tell you guys about something that I've gotten hooked on lately. It's Pho-licious. These are gourmet instant pho and ramen bowls that actually taste like the real deal. When I'm out in the field all day and the last thing I want is to settle for bland camp food, Pho-licious is what I go to. It's authentic, the flavor, it's real ingredients, it's ready in just minutes. It's perfect for hunters, fishermen, or anyone on the go. And you can get them over 1,900 Walmarts nationwide, your local HEB here in Texas. Or you can just go online at pholicious.com. Trust me, once you try it, you'll keep a few stocked in your bag, in your backpack, or for your next adventure. I just want to say this. I want to add this to this commercial because I know the owners of this company. They've hunted on my ranch. Joseph, he and I were actually met in Colorado on a hunting trip that was a real adventure. They are true hunters. They've hunted at the ranch, and I've hunted with them. And Anna, she is just amazing. She's the one that came up with this idea. They were both on Shark Tank. They are amazing people. So I love seeing people like this have a business. And I just had to say that in addition to the commercial, because I really believe in the product and I believe in the people that made the product. Be sure and go to pholicious.com or go to Walmart or HEB and try their product. I promise you will like it.
Right, exactly. And it takes half hour or so for them to figure things out,
Yeah.
but you in your bond that you build with that dog thing, you communicate real quick on what's going on.
Yeah, I love it. So you mentioned a while ago, Brett, that rarity, the guy hardly gets off the couch, just becomes a bird hunter. Believe it or not, I'm almost that guy. I grew up with dogs. I grew up learning how to train on my own, been to dog training schools, done protection dog work for years, and fool with that pretty heavy. Had beagles. But my dad didn't hunt. He was a musician. My grandpa didn't hunt. Neither one of my grandfathers hunted, but the dogs got me into it.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
And I'm sure I'm not the only guy or lady that's happened to, but it was the love of the dogs. And then watching a dog work, that's what got me into it. And yeah. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit. You mentioned Hell's Canyon, but after talking to you, and I talked to another guy, actually it was the owner of Bird Dog Supply, called me, and we got to talking about the species of grouse in Idaho. And I have to admit, I had no clue. I didn't know there were grouse in Idaho, and I definitely didn't know that there was as many species of grouse as there are in Idaho. Tell me about that. Educate me more on Idaho grouse hunting and Idaho upland hunting in general.
Well, I tell you what, I'll tie that in back a little bit to Alaska.
Okay.
On the very first trip to Alaska, we're on the Denali Highway, and we're just going down the road trying to get to tundra habitat. And there are literally within about a half a mile, hundreds of spruce grouse in the road. I'd never seen a spruce grouse. And we're like, what the heck is, I mean, let's hunt them.
Yeah.
And it's a really good sized bird, like, you know, not as big, about the size of blue grouse. I mean, it's a pretty good sized bird. And the limit is 15 a day.
Wow.
And we'd get out and get the dogs out, chase them off the road, which they'd fly up into a tree a lot of times, but we'd get out and hunt. There were birds on the ground in the tree, birds everywhere. Anyway, that's how I got baptized into spruce grouse. And that's right there in Alaska. We were bagging ptarmigan and blue grouse. I mean, what a hunt. Idaho, you have the blues, which you get some really good dog work with blue grouse. Surprisingly, that's a lot of favorites for bird hunters is bluegrass hunting with a dog, and a lot of people think the birds are not all that jittery and skittish of people, and they're not. But you put a dog on the ground, they smarten up real quick, and but you can still get a lot of good dog work. And we haven't really went after solely rough grouse, but they have good rough grouse numbers. We get into them as we're hunting blues, because the blues will open before the chukars and huns do, and we'll hunt blues and sprinkle in a few rough grouse in there as well prior to the chukars and huns opening up.
Well, Brett, let me ask you this. So my grouse hunting experience right now is limited to rough grouse, which, believe it or not, I actually grew up around in southeast Kentucky. Not anymore. I don't think they're there, but they were when I was young. But anyway, I wasn't a hunter. I wasn't hunting them necessarily at that time, but I jumped them all the time squirrel hunting.
Right.
And then, but this year my hunting was pretty much limited to sharptail, and then I hunted rough grouse over in Minnesota, Wisconsin. And we obviously know the differences in hunting those types. One is super thick woods, young timber, and then sharptail was grassland.
Mm-hmm.
How is blue and how is spruce and what's different about hunting those birds in the terrain that's their habitat?
The spruce and blues are pretty much in kind of the same habitat.
Okay.
In the pine trees up high, and the blues will reverse migrate. The colder it gets, the more elevation they gain, and a lot of times with the blue grouse, if you're hunting along and you got it like 8, 9, 10 birds, 12 birds, that is a female with her little ones.
Okay.
The roosters are a lot separate, and if you want to hunt the bigger birds, you usually need to move up in elevation.
Okay.
To get away from those families. But those those families, those 8, 9, 10 bird groups, get a lot of good dog work with those uneducated birds.
Wow, I can't imagine. So are they up in trees, like big trees?
Yeah, they'll fly up into there's Douglas firs in Idaho. They call them pea pines, ponderosa pines. You'll have some of those, but mainly Douglas firs is what they'll fly up into. And what they'll do, they'll fly up in a tree, and then they'll kind of make their way towards the trunk of the tree, and it's the bird is there. You cannot see him.
Wow.
You'll see a tail feather or the silhouette of a head, and you'll finally find him. But man, oh man, when they fly up in them trees, they camo quick.
And then once they're in a tree, that hunt's over for that bird?
What was that, Ken?
Once they're up in the tree like that, is the hunt over for that bird?
Oh, no, not necessarily. You can get them to fly.
Okay.
Majority of the time, you can get them to fly out there, but man, it's a tough shot. Now, and when that occurs, you don't have any. There's no dog work. I mean, you'll have a retrieve, but a lot of times we just continue on trying to find birds on the ground to get some good dogwood.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense because then they're just retrieving, not pointing.
Correct. Yeah, and you'll have dogs. They'll look. So I've had a pointer. One of my pointers. They'll tree. They know that bird's up there, and they'll tree just like a
That's what I was going to ask you. Maybe you need to throw some Walker coonhounds on that hunt with you.
Yeah, I know it. Oh man, they'll just. I've got a pointer that never barks, and he'll be up on the side of that tree just barking and barking. I'm like, son of a gun, you know.
Yeah.
And these dogs act different with different birds you hunt.
That's pretty neat. I'd like to see. You know, I was hunting my pointer last week, Brett, and I was sitting there thinking, you know, he kind of for a minute there it looked like a Walker coonhound, you know.
Oh, sure.
Because they're all athletic and long and lanky.
Oh yeah.
So as far as species of grouse, what's the hardest to hunt in your opinion?
Oh, they're not that really hard to hunt, but a lot of times I tell you what, just to take that a little further, the hardest grouse to hunt is probably prairie chicken.
Okay.
Because you got to do so much walking. The birds are just not as plentiful. I've seen one covey this year, right here in South Dakota, one covey, and I've done a lot of hunting. And that's probably the toughest grouse to hunt, is because you just have to put so many miles. You could walk 5-6 miles before you see a bird. So I would think the chickens are the toughest.
Now, what part of South Dakota do you hunt in?
I'm south of Mitchell.
Okay.
What they call East River.
You know, I just drove through there. I was in Huron opening day of pheasant season. Okay. And then I went to Canada and hunted after I hunted there, and then came back down through Huron and Mitchell. I actually stayed in Mitchell the night on my way driving back out of Canada.
Okay.
But that was, I don't know when it was. That was early last week. But and then I did a canned hunt at the Heartland Lodge before I went home. I just got back to Texas night before last.
All right. Nah.
So now, for me, when I hunt in South Dakota, I go with a guy that owns his own place, and we're hunting corn and sometimes sorghum or something, you know, but mostly corn. And I didn't use my pointing dogs because to me, and I'm not a pointing dog expert, you know, they use retrievers, labs, and I have retrievers that I pheasant hunt with too. And I almost got my dogs out, but then I was afraid maybe I'd mess them up because, you know, those birds are running through corn rows like crazy, and the labs are quartering and flushing and retrieving. And I just didn't think that. And I was talking to those guys who've done that for 30 years there and know their stuff and know dogs. And they kind of even were like, you know, it's probably not the greatest idea. But then I've hunted pheasant. You know, my dogs have pointed pheasant in the grasslands like in Dakota. It's like, you know, up North Dakota and stuff. So how do you pheasant hunt with your pointers?
I don't go on a lot of those driven hunts. I'm by myself. I'm completely by myself with 2 pointers. And what I do, I don't hunt the corn. I'll hunt the edge of the corn in CRP, fence rows. And if I was to get those dogs out in the corn, it just not their forte. Yeah. They, you know, look at all these trails. There's just rows. What's going through the dog's mind is there's rows and rows and rows of all these trails.
Yeah. And they're not going to hold in that stuff.
No. Oh, heavens!
But you know, and when I came down to Illinois on the end of my hunt, and I hunted pheasant, and they were planted birds, and maybe that's different than pheasants in South Dakota that's been there a couple generations. But the planted birds, those pheasants held real tight, I thought, because they were in thick stuff, and they'd hold till you get right on them. You know, so different than what I was used to in South Dakota. Matter of fact, I couldn't get a shot off a couple times because I was like, oh crap, you know, I'm not used to that. Yeah, I'm used to a bird flushing in front of me 20 yards or so. Now, when you're hunting them, how are they? Are they holding pretty tight?
I run Garmin GPS collars on these dogs, and there's an indication on there on where your dog is, how many yards he's out, and these 2 pointers, there's there's an indication on your GPS monitor or your remote for near, because the dogs are near, Near, near. I mean, it's less than 10 feet, and I can't see the dog. I know I'm near, and the dog is not going to move. I know I'm near, and that bird could come up in a 360-degree spot. Yeah. So the collars are essential, and this is the only place in the lower 48 that I've hunted that I've had a dog on point with near and not be able to see him.
It's I just have the 550 plus. Mine doesn't have the near, but it has a point indicator when they hold long enough and they're pointing. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know that alpha had that function because I use a 550 plus. But I checked that out. But yeah, it is different. Yeah. Like even I'll never forget one of the first rough grouses my Brittany pointed in Minnesota. I got right on it. My dog was facing here, and I got around where I figured it was going to jump up in front of my dog's face. Oh, it flushed way behind us, and it scared me. I was like, "Oh heck!" And there was no way I'd have shot it. And I wouldn't. But it's neat how those things run on the ground. The rough grouse to me is a little bit like pheasant. They'll kind of run on the ground, and they're and they're in thick stuff too. Unlike a sharp tail, they don't really like that thick grass. Hey, it's Kenneth Whip, the Gun Dog Nation podcast, and I'm very proud to have as a new sponsor Cable Gangs. That's spelled Gangz. Brendan Landry at Cable Gangs has developed, in my opinion, and I'm a customer, the best tie-out systems on the market. They're easy to pack, easy to store. They can coil up just like an extension cord. They use premium galvanized steel cable coated with durable UV-resistant PVC coating. Brandon can make custom products, anything you want that's related to a dog tie-out system or a cable system or a way to safely secure your dog. They've even made a system that works with a bicycle so you can go and exercise your bicycles and have your dog running along with you. It would be impossible for me to describe to you all the different custom applications they have, so just go to their website at cablegangs.com and check it out. They make dog tie-outs, a way to safely secure your dog if you're at a field trial, a hunt test, coonhound competition, whatever that might be. These guys make the best product on the market. Check it out for yourself, cablegangs.com.
No, not a lot. They're out there on the prairie, out there on the edge. They use it for insurance, but a lot of times they're going to be in that open country. There's something else I wanted to touch real quick on bluegrass. Yes, it's a bird. You could have the wind completely at the dog's back, and that scent is coming over that dog's head, and he's on point. And it's amazing how they adjust. They don't have to necessarily have that wind in their nose. There was a bird in front of, a dog in front of me, and it was Tim's dog, and the fellow I mentioned in Mountain Home, Idaho. That wind was coming right over the top of that dog's head, right over the top, and he was still able to point that bird, and we ended up retrieving the bird. But it was amazing to see a dog adjust to wind not in his nose.
Did he point back towards the wind or away?
Yeah, the bird was behind him.
Did he turn around and point back behind him?
No, he was pointing forward because he had sin in his nose, and the bird was 15 yards behind him, and he was rock solid looking forward.
And that's exactly what happened in that situation I told you about. And that makes sense.
Yeah, it will sure happen. It was a big old rooster bird, and he wasn't moving. And that scent, it was just amazing. I was told Tim, that scent was coming over the top of his head, and he still picked him up.
Their nose is something, isn't it? I've seen those pointers. My pointers found birds that I give up on.
Oh, sure.
Well, actually, the rough grouse I shot, I gave up on it. I thought, man, maybe I missed it, and it was so thick in there. And from the point of where I shot, Brett, which was from a road, a walking trail that they have, those set aside places, and it was 121 yards where he picked that bird up. That's crazy.
Good.
A rough grouse through thick stuff, and how he ever found, smelled, and got on that, I'll never know. But it was nice.
Well, that's why you're out for instances like that with
Yeah,
those
yeah. I
dogs.
mean, and then I had a Brittany. I shot a pheasant and just winged it, and he was about 128 yards. He brought it back. It was still, wasn't fully dead, but I was like, "That's my dog right there," because that'd have been
Oh, that's
that'd have been a bird that and it's conservation, right? I mean, otherwise it'd have been a bird that had been wounded and probably eventually died. But your dogs keep that from happening.
I tell you what, that's something else. Hunting in Hell's Canyon, hunting chukars and hunts in Hell's Canyon. If you're on just crest of a hill, you got a covey that coming up, and you knock down 2 or 3 birds out of that covey. Those birds are 20 yards, 25, 30 yards away from you when you're shooting them. They will fall stone dead 150 yards away from you because they're way down in that canyon, and you don't see them hit the ground because it's over the hill and that canyon just disappears. And there was one instance this past year I shot 3 birds on a covey rise and never saw any of the 3 birds hit the ground. It was over a hill. I don't know, because what they'll do, they'll hit that hill and they'll just bounce.
Gee.
It just bounce and bounce. You don't know where they end up. And this one of these pointers found all 3 birds.
Wow. I can't see. I've never hunted that kind of terrain. And another thing I've never hunted, even in pen, I've never hunted chukar.
Okay. Well, red-legged, what do they call them? Red-legged devil birds. They say the first time is for fun, the next time or your second time is for revenge. Oh my goodness, in that hilly Idaho Hell's Canyon country, it's just so much work on the dogs and yourself. I tell you what's refreshing though, hunting the canyon, is on the Oregon Trail is real close in proximity to us. What those pioneers did on the trail, they would plant apple groves and plum thickets for the people coming in behind them to fight scurvy. They would eat that. There's just an explosion of vitamin C to help combat scurvy. And you're out there hunting with your dog, even though it might have frosted a couple of times, it'll warm up during the day. It'll get hot. And it's real refreshing in that canyon to stop and take a break with your dog and eat those plums and apples. Those apples really sweeten up after that first frost. And it's just a time of reflection and privilege that you have out there, taking a break, eating those fruit, that wild fruit that they planted back when they were going up and down that Oregon Trail trying to better themselves, find a better life.
I love it. I'm a huge history buff. That was my minor in undergrad, so yeah.
Oh, nice.
That makes you want to go again. So now let's switch gears a little bit. We've covered ptarmigan, covered grouse, and it's something I want to come and do with you soon, hopefully, or whenever we get together. Until I've talked to you and someone put me in touch with you, and I can't even remember who did that. I can't remember who put us together. Wade Bird. Gosh, yeah. How can I forget that man?
Wade Bird. You talk about one of them.
He's a dandy. He's a very well-liked guy and just true friend. I think the world of him. I'd forgotten Wade hooked me up with you. I'm going to try to hunt with Wade here soon. I'm going to call him and hit him up. We were both in South Dakota, but just at different times. I was actually leaving when he was going.
Okay.
And I'd give anything to hunt with him because we just haven't been able to click to our schedules. But I had no clue, Brett. This shows you my ignorance a little bit of all the, I knew what a bob white quail was. I learned what a blue was when I moved to Midland, Texas, and seen these things running all over the place. They were everywhere. The first year I moved to Midland was 2012, and in 2013 they finally got rain because it had rain in a year, and there was a lot of blues.
Sure.
And people told me that I was like, I'd love to hunt, and I worked with a guy who was a big time bird hunter, and people say it's hard to hunt them with dogs as they run on the ground. But anyway, to me, that's the only species of quail that I really was aware of. And then I found out about you and talked to you and found about all these other species in Arizona. Let's talk about that. Educate me more. You've given me a little information prior to this podcast, but let's talk about that and hunting those.
Well, in the beauty of Arizona, and you've got them in Texas too, but it's not as in the numbers that you have in Arizona. There's three birds. You've got the gamble quail with the black top knot. You got the scaly or blue. They call them blues where I was from, or cotton tops. And then you have a bird called a Mearns quail, and that's Mearns, Mearns. I believe Teddy Roosevelt was instrumental in naming them Mearns because of General Mearns back in the Rough Rider days. But the Mearns quail is very, very, it's a true gentleman bird. Dogs go on point, and you can position people. Oh, you come over here, because the birds aren't going anywhere. And come over here, position this person here, position that person here. They're going to go right there, and they're still in there. And I've walked in hundreds of times, right through the middle of the covey. Walked right through the middle of the covey and continue on 10 or 15 yards. The dogs are still rock solid behind me. I'm like, well, and I turn around and come back. And I'm coming back, and I'm looking, and I'm actually looking on the ground. I'm like, ooh, there's a bird right there. You could see him on the ground. And you're okay. And he's facing, like, let's say he's facing north. Okay, he's going to fly north. And you're waiting for him to flush, and you're going in, and you're going in, and you're going, and all of a sudden, 10 birds around him flush that you didn't see. And he's still there. And you've already missed out on the first 10 that flushed. And then he flies, he's facing north, he flies south behind a tree, naturally. But as far as a true gentleman bird, they don't run. They will move and hide, but they don't run off like a blue or a gamble. It really, really polishes up a dog hunting a Mearns quail. It's a beautiful bird. Beautiful bird. It's the prettiest bird, quail, I think there is, besides California quail. It's pretty close second. But those Mearns quail are very, very friendly with the dog.
Nice. Now, what are they in all different seasons? Are they in different regions in Arizona?
They're totally different habitat. You're down in country that looks like Fredericksburg.
Okay.
They're in oaks, rolling hill oaks, juniper habitat is where they are. About 4,800, 5,200 elevation in feet is where they're at in your desert birds. We just call them desert birds or Mearns. The deserts, you're referring to the blues or the gambles. The Mearns, you're referring to the Mearns. And that's down around the border, the U.S.-Mexico border. They're closer to that. And down around Sonoyta, Arizona is where I do quite a bit of hunting. And you think you're in Fredericksburg. Wow. You totally come up out of that desert floor into the oak and juniper habitat, and that's where the burns are.
You know, right here my ranch is I'm about an hour and a half from Fredericksburg. I'm in Menard.
Okay.
So it kind of what you're describing this, except my elevation here is about 3,000 versus what you're talking about.
Well, speaking of elevation, in Alaska, 2,000 feet, you're above the timberline. Wow. It's really odd up there, but yeah, that's the different. Now, in really, really, really good years in Arizona, you get all three without moving the truck. It's very rare. We've done it half a dozen different times, but you'll get all three species. When the Mearns are in the mesquites, you've got a chance of getting all three species in one day.
Now, do you guide hunts as well, correct?
I do.
You probably don't advertise or probably don't have to advertise, do you?
Not much, because, I'm retired now and I can do it quite a bit more, but I don't do the guiding I used to. But, word of mouth in this bird hunting fraternity, it's like a forest fire. It spreads pretty
Now,
quick.
have you hunted with Wade Bird? Okay.
Oh, sure.
Does he come out there?
Yeah, that's a whole other show
Okay. Yeah.
there.
I've been noticing he got him it looks like he pimped up his dog trailer. I haven't got to look at it real well, but I saw something on social media.
Yeah, he built the first one.
Now, have you ever hunted with Adrian Jackson?
I've not hunted with him, but I've been around him several times.
I had him on the show. We had a good time.
Okay, nice. He's a really good
man.
guy.
I like him. We had a good time on the show. We talked forever, but I'm gonna try to go up there and hunt those guys. I met Wade actually at a Ronnie and Susanna Smith training seminar.
Okay,
back in actually about spring, this early spring this year. So what was I going to ask you another question. It'll come to here in a second. Do the guys that you hunt with, do they use other breeds, or are all of you guys pointer guys, English pointer guys?
Pointer. Well, pointers and short hairs. There's a gentleman, there's a vet out of Idaho, Doug Walker. He has an incredible team. He's got a lab and a short hair, and he does a lot more duck hunting. He's part-time waterfowler. But I tell you what, that lab and that short hair are quite the team, and they fit like he had a picture in his mind what he wanted. Like I was talking about earlier, he had in his mind the team he wanted, and he come up with it. And the lab will heal when that short hair goes on point. It's kind of like the lab is pointing too, but he's not pointing; he's just healing. But Tim and I run pointers.
And the lab, does it flush? Just retrieve?
No, it's strictly retrieve. Strictly retrieve. It'll trail them birds up just like a pointer or something.
Now, the Idaho hunting, is that public land mostly?
Mostly, yeah. There's some private stuff we get on, but mostly it's public.
And then what about Arizona? Is that public?
It's all public. It's all public. There, it goes over the curve.
You know, Brett, until this year, I hunted South Dakota 4 years in a row. It's private land, but until this year, I never, you're in Texas, right? There's no public land hunting. None that I'm aware of. If there are, somebody point me out to it. But, you get up there and it's amazing, especially Montana. Do you hunt Montana?
I do.
They've got that block management system, and someone told me about it. Ducks Unlimited or something was telling me about it, but I didn't really comprehend it. And then I was driving to go. I was actually had been duck hunting and was coming back, and I saw this sign in this little box, and I thought, that rings a bell. Maybe that's what they were telling me about. So I stopped, and it's got cards to fill out, and you hunt for the day. And every day that you hunt there, you fill out the card, and I thought, this is amazing.
Right.
And the public land everywhere. It was pretty nice for a hunter. Hey, it's Kenneth Witt with the Gun Dog Nation podcast, and we are so proud to be partnered with the National Shoot to Retrieve Association, also known as NASTRA. NASTRA has a common love for producing the best bird dogs possible. It's a great community that builds and bonds everlasting friendships. I've actually got to meet a lot of the NASTRA members who's taken me hunting and some other grouse hunting and stuff in different places. So I can honestly say I'm a member, and I'm proud to be partnered with them. NASTRA hosts national and regional field trials that emphasize the working ability of bird dogs. They have been around for over 50 years. There's a reason that NASTRA has been around that long. Please check them out at www.nstra.org and belong and support your local NASTRA club. They do have national and regional events, and it's a good place to help learn to be a better dog trainer, a better dog owner, and to compete with your bird dog. Thank you.
Oh, it is. There's guys that will go out to Montana before the season starts and work their dogs. Those sharptails are, and later on the sharptails, I don't think it's educated, because I've known of some areas that they're sharp tails, and you go in there in December. These birds have never been hunted. And you go in there in December, and they're flushing 150 yards out in front of you. And I don't think it's pressure that makes them that way. I think it's just what God did for to preserve and give them a defense. I don't think it's pressure that makes them that wild. I think it's just in their DNA.
You know, I hunted around Lewistown, Montana, in early season, and it was pretty successful. But when I got and hunted Montana later in October, I went back up there. They were flushing way out of range. Every single one. Never got a point on a grouse that was shootable.
What time of year?
I went back around October 8th, 9th and hunted state of Montana. I was duck hunting and grouse hunting both. And
Okay.
I never got to shoot a grouse. I mean, we jumped them, but
oh sure,
yeah,
they're out there.
But now they said that area I was in, it was the northeast Montana. You know, they'd had a big hailstorm and the numbers were really down. And everybody I talked to guys that hadn't even seen a grouse. Yeah.
Oh, good.
And because you know how it is up there, you pull in a gas station with a dog trailer or a dog box. There are probably 4 or 5 more pulling in there too, and you know it's a good way to get a scouting report.
Oh sure.
But no, it's really nice. So what I'm wanting to do, you know, this year was a bucket list thing. Just for our conversation purposes, I'm going to ask you something else. You know, I did Wisconsin, Minnesota, South Dakota, North Dakota, and Montana. I ran over to Canada, but I didn't get to upland hunt in Canada. It was waterfowl only. Even though I saw some grouse when I was up there in Saskatchewan, but this 26, I'd like to change that up and like do Idaho. But it sounds like I better get in shape.
If you hunt Hell's Canyon, that separates the men from the boys. There, you put in a 3 or 4 hour hunt there, you're stiff the next day. And we'll hunt 6-7 days in a row, and it's all the dogs can handle. I mean, they need a couple of weeks after that.
I've tried some different products while I was hunting them pretty hard up there. I've met the guy that owned Retriever Fuel, and he's been sending me stuff to use. It's a paste. It smells and looks like peanut butter. It's got peanut butter in it, but I was using that kind of recovery for the dogs, just trying it out. They seem to like it. It's all human grade stuff. I mean, if I got down and out weak, I could eat it myself. And I didn't do that, but you can. I mean, I don't think it's recommended on the box. But anyway, and then I also tried, another buddy of mine gave me some Zoom Dog, just enzyme tablets, basically for like Gatorade or something. And I would try that with my dogs in their waters, but tablets, excuse me, and let them dissolve.
Right.
I'm thinking about that and getting thirsty. But do you do anything? You're running dogs in hard country and hard terrain. What's your nutrition regimen? Because I bet have a good one.
Well, you go the trick. What a dog needs to do when he's trying to recover is eat. They need to eat, and a lot of times a dog gets so tired they don't eat. So what we do, we'll mix canned dog food with our regular ProPlan high protein dog food that we feed them right now. We'll mix that canned dog food with it in order for them to eat. That's really the only thing that I really concentrate on is to make those dogs eat. And the only way to really do, I don't do it straight canned dog food. It gets a little rich, and traveling like we travel in dog boxes and stuff, you don't want to have any issues there. So you mix that with that ProPlan food that we're using right now. I think it's like 22% protein. It's high protein. You don't want to feed it to them year round, but when they're burning all those calories, these dogs will go 26, 27 miles a day in those hills, and it's like bread and water. You just keep it simple. A dog doesn't sweat, so I don't really look into electrolytes. That I don't try to give them electrolytes. They just need to eat and drink water. Water, just food and water. Get them to eat.
I keep my dogs on 30-20 pro plan Purina for hunt season. And, I do, especially on my labs, I have to up their food intake a little bit. And my pointer, I've noticed. And I don't ever measure dog food. I mean, I use a cup, obviously, but I watch my dog's waistline and their ribs. That's what I try to do.
That's right. Yeah, just keep it simple. I mean, the quicker they eat after a big, like, played football in high school and college, there was food everywhere. I mean, you need to eat. And we had pregame meals and after the game meals. And the quicker they eat after a hard hunt, the quicker they recover.
Where'd you go to college, Brett?
Kind of all around. I started out at South Plains Junior College in Levelland.
No, that's it.
And one year there, went over to San Angelo State, and down in San Angelo, Texas, went there, and then walked on at University of Texas, and then that was I needed to, after that experience, I need to get me an education. And it's not going to happen here. But went up to Arlington, went to ITT, and got an engineering degree out of there at ITT there in Arlington.
I'm only probably 100, not 100. I'm only about an hour and 10 minutes from San Angelo State. Down through. I was there yesterday because that's where I have to go shop. But you come down Christoval through Toenail Trail, and my ranch is on 190. Yeah.
I see. Okay, great.
A mile in Schleicher County.
I was born in.
Menard County.
All right. Menard. Okay. I hunted in Mason.
I'm 50 miles from Mason, or less.
Okay, good deal.
I'm going to ask you. I will get your reaction here. So I bet I was at Delta Waterfowl Convention back in the summer. In Oklahoma City, and I bid on. I don't usually bid on stuff these auctions. It was a fundraiser auction, but I'll do raffle tickets or something. Anyway, I bid on a hunt and won, and only one other person bid, and there wasn't a lot of interest in it. I couldn't figure out why, and I got it. It was a very valuable hunt, and I got for about almost a little over 10% of what it cost. I thought, well, there's a catch here. Something ain't right, No one else is bidding on this, and I won. It's too good to be true. Anyway, I won a hunt at St. Paul Island, Alaska, the day after Christmas for 5 days through New Year's Day, of actual hunting. So it's that sea duck, idler, and I didn't know where St. Paul Island was. And then I realized, I did save a lot of money on the hunt, but the airfare, because you got to fly to Anchorage, then take a charter 4 hours to the island. You're basically in the middle of the Bering Sea. You're about as close to Russia as you are to Anchorage, and probably less distance from the Arctic Circle. So you being a man that's worked up, am I crazy? Is this going to be a bad hardcore hunt, or what do you think I should expect?
It's going to be raining. Well, by then it may be snowing, but I bet you're going to have a mix. I would pack for pack for wet.
I think,
but it could be a hunt of a lifetime.
I almost, when I realized what I'd done and what I won, I thought, man, maybe I shouldn't do this. This is crazy. And that's what I thought. I thought, you know what, you only live once, and it's a bucket list for a lot of hardcore waterfowlers, and I'm not a hardcore waterfowler. I love to duck hunt, but I'm fairly new to the game. But
sure. Well, you're gonna see some waterfowl that they don't see in the lower 48.
Yeah, and that's what kind of got me interested in it too, because they had pictures of when they do those auctions, they got a movie screen up there. Yeah, so I saw those ducks, and I'd been following. His name's Pit Boss. guy, Jeff Coates out of Maryland, who's always posting
Okay.
all kinds of sea duck. He does sea duck hunts. And so I had been
Right.
following him and watching. I thought, man, that is a cool looking duck. And I'd love to do that one day. And I was going to go with Jeff, and I will one of these days because it's a lot warmer than Alaska. But I actually have, you can't really see them here. I can do this. I don't think it'll mess up too bad, but he makes decoys too. Jeff Coates makes some really nice decoys, but I don't know if you can see those up there. Let's see here. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So he made those first two on the right. He made the other one. I wanted something, but they're both ducks in that ocean, habitat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are beautiful.
So I thought, man, so hopefully I'll have a real one to bring back to Purina Pro Plan. Here at Gundog Nation, we use Purina Pro Plan for our dogs. We actually use the Sport Performance Edition, which is 30% protein and 20% fat, the beef and bison. It contains glucosamine, omega-3s for their joints. It also contains amino acids for muscles and antioxidants. And it also has probiotics. It's guaranteed to have live probiotics in each serving. There's no artificial colors or flavors. We see the difference in our dogs. We see the difference in their coat, their performance, their endurance, and also in recovery. Be sure to use Purina Pro Plan dog food. The reputation speaks for itself. There's a reason that Purina has been around for such a long time. We suggest that you use it, and we are so proud to be sponsored by Purina Dog Food. When you're getting ready to go on your next hunting trip, make sure you pack the most efficient and reliable ammunition on the market. Migra Ammunition brings you the most diverse loads on the market. Migra's patented stacked load technology is the epitome of efficiency. 2 shot sizes stacked together to create the most diverse and efficient line of shot shells in the industry. It doesn't matter what flyway, what state, or what the weather, the standard remains the same. At Migra, reliable loads that perform in any condition every single time. We're proud to have Migra Ammunition as a sponsor for Gundog Nation.
Yeah, you'll find some very colorful and very unique ducks that they'll never see in Mississippi.
Yeah, that's the one thing I liked about hunting Montana is there's a lot of different species of duck. But in Canada, when I did Canada, we were snow goose hunting mainly, but there was still a lot of different species of duck. But there's so many I've not killed.
Sure.
Well, I know you're busy and it's hunting season for you. We'll get off here because I want to work out a trip with you to Arizona. Just for the record too, what is the Arizona season? How does that run?
It's like mid-October. I think 17th it opened this year. Mid-October to the first week of February. Now, the Mearns, that doesn't open until the first week of December. And it'll go to the first week of February.
It's a shorter season, but ends at the same time? Okay.
Correct.
Well, I definitely like to do that. I'll see what your schedule's like. The only thing I'm doing in January, I go every year with a friend and some of his buddies to Lubbock. We sand hill crane hunt up there. And, I tell everybody this, and like I said, I'm not a waterfowl expert, but I can't imagine better hunting for sandhill crane than Lubbock, Texas area. It's great.
I know it. They just pile in there.
And then I can about say that for Saskatchewan on that snow goose. It was insane. They remind me of each other, like the numbers of birds, just millions. It looked like millions. I don't know how many there were, but it's great.
Sure.
Do you ever get to hunt up in there? Do you do that any? Are you strictly upland?
Up and around. I'm strictly upland. We've done some waterfowling. I did some shows for Working Man's Retriever and some other shows and stuff. And we actually went up to Canada, up around Pontex, Saskatchewan, and hunted Hungarian partridge and waterfowl both. But the waterfowling it's like, I gotta take it in small doses because I can get hooked real easy. And you talk about another rabbit hole to go down, because I'm pretty invested in upland hunting, and that waterfowling. It's another drug, man. You can really get sucked into that. It's really addicting. That's a lot of fun. That
it's right, and I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out, what I love waterfowl hunting and shooting, but I also love walking with dogs too. But the thing about waterfowl hunting, you know this better than I do, but you get out and set out, for just example, sandhill crane or snow geese, you get out and set out 300 to 500 decoys, and those people helping you. And then you take them all back down. If you hunt twice a day, you're doing that twice in a day. I mean, it's
Yeah,
a work. It's a lot of work.
I I did. I'll tell you real quick, funny here about. I did some shows with
Okay.
American Bird Hunter out of Michigan, and there was a gentleman there that originated that show. His nickname was the General, and we would be out setting out decoys at 4 a.m., 3:30, 4:30 a.m. And you just have to get up so early with the waterfowl. And you don't have to do that
Yeah.
with uplands. And you get up so early. And the general was like, why do
Well,
we
I
have
got
to
to
get
grab something. One
so
second,
early?
Brett. Be right back.
Go ahead.
All right. Sorry about that. You were saying that you had to get up pretty early for the decoys.
Oh, my goodness. You don't do that with upland bird hunting. I mean, especially if you're hunting Hungarian partridge, you want them to feed a little bit, scratch around a little bit, because if a Hungarian partridge is feeding, you're not going to get up on him. So we're out there setting up decoys, and the general is walking around and just complaining about having to get up so early. He'd say, "We're not storming the beaches in Normandy. Why do we have to be out here so darn early?"
Hey, I agree. Them guys kill me. My Texas buddies in Montana,
Yeah.
they like kill me. I mean, those guys are hardcore. Uh, and they're up.
Oh,
And
sure.
I think they're so enthused they'll get up like an hour earlier than you need to. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
they have internal
yeah.
waterfowl clock.
And yeah, that's and then they want you to park 4 miles, away from where you
Oh,
you
sure.
got to hunt. And I'm telling you, I was killed. Um, but and then yeah, you got to get up early. That's why. And I love South Dakota pheasant hunting because you can't hunt before 10 a.m. So
No, no,
I'll
no,
get
no,
up.
no, not at all. Well, in those waterfowlers, I was with the group we filmed a show out of Spokane, and these guys pull up in a triple axle trailer, complete a cargo trailer, completely full of decoys and all this stuff. Triple axle. You needed a 3/4 ton or
Yeah,
1 ton to
the
pull the
guys in
thing.
Canada had a dual axle, and it was huge with those snow geese decoys. And then
Oh, I
we
bet.
put out
I
a few
bet.
duck decoys in with it. And then they had a Canadian run. I mean, oh, it's a lot of work. Uh,
It's a lot of work. It gets spendy. Those decoys, they
yeah,
don't
you
give them
about have to
away.
go with an outfitter because it's cheaper than buying decoys. That's
Oh my goodness! I know
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
rabbit hole I was talking about. I don't want to that waterfowl rabbit. I'm invested in what I'm doing
yeah. I
right
can't
now.
imagine what those decoys cost those guys in Canada. I mean, it's I can't. I'm just now that you're saying that, I started thinking the numbers. But yeah, um,
Yeah.
now if you want people to reach you, Brett, do you want to tell them how or
Yeah. Sure. Absolutely. Email address. It's real easy. Brett Browning at me. That's me.com. You're welcome to call 520-833-2722. I'd
okay?
love
Now,
to
are you
visit
on?
with you.
I don't haven't noticed you. Are you on social media?
No,
Okay,
not really. I just never did warm up to that. and email and cell phone is the best way to get hold of me.
All right. Well, Brett, it's been a real education. I mean, I've been wanting to do a podcast like this. I hate doing the same old stories on a podcast, and this is definitely one for the books that what I love about this job, Brett, is I learn as much as anybody else listening, about this, and it helps me be a better dog guy, better hunter, and plus it also gets me down rabbit holes. So.
Oh, sure. Well, I tell you what, if you want to do another one sometime, we could really get in the weeds about Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, on what these birds feed on, what to look for, and how to position your dogs. And if you want to expand a little more, we could go into
absolutely. Let's do that. Matter of fact, we may set a time here in the next 2 months to do that. I'm going to Scotland and Ireland for the International Retriever Championship this month.
Okay.
And then December is December, but it's that Alaska thing. But still, in between then, you and I, we can do morning stuff too, whatever works. But I'd love to have you on there. That would be a great podcast.
Absolutely, I'd be
Brett
thrilled.
Brown, it's been a pleasure having you on here, and this won't be our last one. Good luck up there in South Dakota, and when are you coming back home for good for the season?
I'll be here through Thanksgiving. I just can't pull myself away from these ringnecks, and then I'll probably head over to New Mexico, hunt over New Mexico. I've got some stuff over there I want to joust around a little bit.
About Thanksgiving's getting pretty cold up there in Dakotas, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my goodness! Yes, I only brought clothes to get me to the first part of December.
Yeah, it hadn't got. I always hunt there in October, so it's never bad in October. But that November start, I've heard. I've never hunted November there, but I can remember. Yeah,
I'm sure. I tell you real quick. The coldest I've hunted up here is my truck said 18 below, and I knew not to get those pointers out of the box to lose their heat. I didn't even get my dogs out. At 18 below, that was too cold for me, much less than
speaking of that, I've got a Jones trailer, and it's real insulated, and you can open the door, and it's amazing how warm it is inside. And plus the dogs, all the different dog body heat helps. But I'm real impressed.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've got hound heaters in my box in the back of my truck, and you got 2 dogs in there, and hound heaters going, and then you put a comforter over that, and they're just as warm as you are.
I'm going to have to look that up. Well, Brett, it's been a pleasure. I want to get you back. We'll definitely schedule one to get back, and good luck up there. Stay safe. Okay. Have a safe drive back to Arizona. Or to New Mexico, and then to home. Anyway, thank you for being on here. We're going to get you back, and we will talk about some dog stuff, about how to position those dogs and training them and working them in those states.
Absolutely. I look forward to it, Ken.
All right. Thank you very much.
You bet. Take care.
Hello, this is Kenneth Witt with Gun Dog Nation, and I'd like to encourage all you listeners and viewers on our YouTube channel to check out patreon.com/GunDogNation. For $10 a month, you can become a member of our community, and we'll have access to lots of stuff. Mainly, we'll do a monthly forum, an open forum, where you can ask me anything gun dog related, and we'll learn from each other in the community. Should be a lot of fun each month. We will do that. So check it out, patreon.com/GunDogNation.